This is going to be a full SEO audit of a personal injury attorney in Pensacola, Florida. So, what we're going to look at is their current site. What is going on? How is their internal linking? Are we creating silos to link back to our service pages? Our service pages are our money pages. Are our money pages ranking high in Google? Do they have any 301 errors occurring on the site? Do we have any 404 errors occurring on the site? What is the site's health? What's going on? Are we orphaning pages? Do we not have any links to them? So they exist, but Google just doesn't know about them or Google can't reach them. What is going on externally? So across their social profiles, like their YouTube, Instagram threads, their Facebook, even Vimeo, what are they doing? Or do they even have those social profiles? The content that they're posting, are they linking back to their site? Are they using the correct URL structure when they are linking back to their site across these? What is going on with their Google Business Profile? Is their Google Business Profile fully optimized? Do they have every single attribute, every single field or form or what have you on the Google Business Profile properly optimized, filled out to the best possibly that they can? So this is what we're going to find out. First, let's go and look at their Google Business Profile. So for this personal injury attorney in Pensacola, Florida, their Google Business Profile's primary category is they've got personal injury attorney. Then their subcat or their other categories are law firm. They've also got attorney, legal services, and trial attorney. These are all great categories to have on their profile. Whenever you think about setting up your personal injury attorney Google Business Profile, you want to make sure that primary category is best matching the services or the keywords that you're trying to target. So they're in a personal injury attorney and their primary category is personal injury attorney. This is exactly what we want to be doing. Next, under those categories, we then want to list services. So for the services that we place under each of these primary categories, after we place them, we then want to go back and then add a 2 to 3 sentence description for each. Now, for the services that you put on your Google Business Profile, what you want to do is target the specific service or the specific instance in which people are going to be searching for, right? So since this is personal injury attorney, they've got crimes, fraud, they got criminal cases, they have criminal defense personal injury, they've got domestic violence, they've got drug trafficking, DUI conviction, right? All of these are different keywords or keyword variations or services that a personal injury attorney would provide. So not only do you need to consider having those, you also need to consider other ones. So what they also have is federal crime, felony. They've got felony offenses. They've got fraud theft. They've got home criminal defense. So these are all going to fall under personal injury attorney. So when people go and search for those keywords or those services, we're going to have the Google Business Profile appear more often, which leads to us getting the calls or getting the clicks to our site to fill out the form to then start our sales motion. Now, on this personal injury attorney's website, what they need to do is they need to list their appointment link. Now, even if you don't have an appointment setting software or a page dedicated to this, you can still just set the link to your homepage. You can also set the link to your contact us page. What we want to do is just have a URL in that appointment URL link on the Google Business Profile. Next is you want to go through every single possible attribute or setting on the profile that Google allows you to edit. You want to scroll all the way down through the entire thing. Are you veteran owned? Do you speak any of these other languages? Do you have free parking? Is your restroom publicly accessible, right? You want to go through the entire profile and you want to click yes or no, and you want to fill out wherever you can information about you and your business. Also, on this personal injury attorney's Google business profile, they're only linking to their Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. They have a LinkedIn account and they have a Threads account that they could be linking to. So on your Google business profile, what you want to make sure you're doing is any social media platforms that Google has available to link to, you want to go on those platforms and you want to create a profile. Then you want to link to those profiles on your Google business profile. Even if you don't plan on posting on all of these different platforms, you still want to go and create those profiles. In those profiles, type a very verbose about or bio. Then also make sure we're linking back to our site. When we link back to our personal injury attorney's website, what we want to make sure we're doing is we're using the correct URL structure. So if you go and visit your site right now, do you get a www.personalinjuryattorney.com or do you get a personalinjuryattorney.com? This is important because what we want to do is we want to maintain consistency across all of our links. Anytime we're linking internally, so to other pages on our site, we want to maintain the same URL structure. If we have any external links to our personal injury attorney's website, we also want to maintain the exact same URL structure. On all of our social profiles, the same URL structure. For any of our backlinks, we want to maintain the same URL structure. Anytime we post on social media, again, same URL structure across the board. Anytime anything is linking back to your site, we need to maintain the same structure. So for this personal injury attorney's website, they have a top level domain of .net. You do not want a .net, you don't want a .law, you don't want a .io, you want a .com. A top level domain .com is going to rank higher in search. So whenever someone is searching for personal injury attorney, having a .com domain is going to rank you higher. It's going to give you a better chance to rank in search than having any of these other domains like .net, .co, .law, .info. You want a .com domain. So on this personal injury attorney's Google business profile, they are not using the full 750 character limit on their description. You want to make sure that you have yours fully filled out. You want to use all 750 characters. So as a personal injury attorney, you want to make sure on your Google business profile, you are responding to reviews within 24 to 48 hours. Anytime you get a review, make sure you're responding to it within that time frame. You don't want reviews to go a couple days, a couple weeks, worse, a month or two or longer from getting a response. Also, even if it is a 1-star review or anything in between a 1 to 5-star review, any review that lands on your Google business profile, you want to respond to. We can see here that they haven't responded to these reviews. There's some that are a couple years old. There are some that are a couple months old. So if you ever get to the point where you're behind on responding to your Google business profile reviews for your personal injury attorney, what you want to do is just batch them. Every week, you're going to do 10 responses to 10 reviews to get through all of them. Like here for this Google business profile that I'm currently looking at, they have 433 reviews. So that's a lot. What you want to do is we're going to batch them. We're going to do 10 a week. So that's it for the Google business profile for this personal injury lawyer. Now we're going to start looking at some of their social profiles. So for their YouTube, they don't have a link back to their site. You want to, in your YouTube bio or your about section, you want to have links to all of your other social profiles. YouTube is another Google entity, right? So we want to have multiple instances, multiple references to all of our social profiles. We also want to be linking back to our own personal website. Anytime you go to post on any of these social platforms, we always want to be linking back to our site. Anytime you launch a new blog, anytime you launch a new service, anytime you launch a new locations page, any of these new pages, what we want to do is we want to, when we post on these social platforms, have a link that is going back to them. What this does is that it gets us more backlinks, multiple instances in which Google can find that URL, and every time it goes and crawls those pages, even months, years later, it will follow that URL, which then gives us more chances to be crawled, and it will keep our pages indexed longer in search. And it will also help us keep our entire site indexed by Google. So in their YouTube description, they're not linking back to their site. They, on every single post, you want to make sure you're linking back. Let's go look at this one as well. They're not linking back to their site. They should be. They've got all their contact information on the page, which is great, but on their YouTube, they want to link back to their site. Okay, so let's go look at their Instagram account. So this personal injury attorney's Instagram has a link back to the site. Let's look at the URL structure. They've got the phone number. They've got the address, which is great. Let's go look at some of these posts, see what's going on. So in their post on their Instagram, this personal injury attorney is linking or has placed a URL structure that is not the URL structure that is served when visiting the site. So what happens is Google will go crawl that social media post. It will get fed this URL. It will follow the URL to a 301 redirect. You do not want to feed it a 301 redirect. What you want to do is just link to the proper URL structure. You want the www or the non-www. It just depends on what is served when visiting the site. So when I go to their site right now, what I'm given is a www. So on all of their social profiles, their social posts, any backlinks, they want to include that www. So we got a link here, but it is not the absolute full URL, and it's also missing the www. So they've got a link to their /blog. This is great. What we're doing by doing this is we're sending Google to a very specific hub page, which is going to help with crawling and getting all of our pages indexed. Yeah, so across all of these, they're not using the proper links. So they need to go and clean all of those up. Let's go look at their threads. So this personal injury lawyer created a Threads account, which is great. But what you also want to make sure you're doing is you're filling out the profile, right? When you go to fill out the profile, you also want to include a link back to your site. And anytime you go to post, you also want to include a link back to your site. But their Threads account is literally just blank. Yes, they created it, but it only did half of the job, half of the work. So now we're looking at their Yelp. Their Yelp has the correct URL structure. We've got the 850 phone number. Let's go look at their Google Business Profile. Is it correct? Let's see. 850-2220. So this personal injury attorney has a Yelp listing, which is great. The only thing is that their phone number listed is different from the phone number on their Google Business Profile. And the phone number that is on their Yelp is also different from the phone number that is on their website. So what this does is Google will go and crawl all of these instances in which your business is referenced, and none of the name, address, or phone numbers are the same. And so this confuses Google, which hurts you, which makes it so your site or your Google Business Profile doesn't rank as high because you have all of this different information. So Google can't get a single entity or a single understanding of what is your business's actual information. So anytime you have anything external or internal, like your website or your Google Business Profile, you want to make sure that it has the same name, address, and phone number across all of these instances. So they've got the about the business that has the phone number, but the phone number is different from what is listed on the Yelp listing. So I would go clean that up. So on their LinkedIn, they've got the correct URL structure, which is great. They got the www. So let's see if that phone number tracks. So on their LinkedIn as well, they have the wrong phone number or a different phone number than what's listed on their site and on their Google Business Profile. So it's just confusing Google. Let's go look at their Bing listing. So they don't have a Bing listing. They should get a Bing listing. Let's go look at their posts. No posts. That's fine. Now let's look at their Facebook. Their Facebook has the correct URL structure. This is great. They've also got it linked here as well. Actually, this link right here doesn't have the www. So what's happening is that you're force feeding Google a 301 redirect as a personal injury attorney. Your Facebook account should have the same URL structure. Another thing that I'm seeing is we have another instance in which a external source like their Facebook account is listing the wrong phone number or a different phone number than what's occurring on their site and their Google Business Profile. So again, we're just confusing Google every time it looks and crawls information about us. It's trying to figure out, okay, what is their actual name, address, and phone number? And if these are all mixed up across all of these directory listings, these social profiles, you're just confusing Google. Also, on their Facebook account, they need to be linking back to their site. So we got a link here. They need to do it consistently across all of these links. So there's another one. So that's good. But they just need to be a little bit more consistent. So now we're going to look at their Vimeo account. So this is awesome that they have one. They are linking to the wrong URL structure. They need to go and clean that up though. Now on their videos or their posts, again, wrong URL structure. They have this old phone number. So Google's going to come by, crawl all these videos. They've got a couple dozen. And each time Google is going to think that's their phone number. But it's not. They've got different ones on their Google Business Profile and their website. So this is just another instance in which Google is being confused about what are you actually about? What is your actual contact information? And so you need to go and make sure you clean all those up, that they're all referencing the same thing. Okay, so that's all of that. Let's close some of these social profiles up. So that's it for the Google Business Profile for this personal injury lawyer. Now we're going to start looking at some of their social profiles. So now we've looked at everything externally. So now we're going to look at the website and see what's going on. So first thing I noticed when looking at this personal injury attorney site is at the bottom, they have their locations, which is great. The issue is that when I click map and directions, I'm taken to these two locations in Google Maps. They are specific to the address, but they're not linking to their Google Business Profile. So this is a very common thing that I see occur across a lot of sites that I do audits for. Go on your site right now, click the link or the embedded Google Business Profile maps that you have on your site and see, does this actually take me to my Google Business Profile? If it's not taking you to your Google Business Profile, go to your Google Business Profile. You're going to see the directions. You're going to see like a save, a nearby, or a send to phone icons. On the far right, you're going to see a share icon. You're going to click the share icon. A little window should pop up. In the top left, you'll see send a link. And then right next to it, you'll see embed a map. Click the embed a map. And then there's going to be another window that pops up. You're going to see a map below. And then you're going to see a little bit of code like an iframe at the top. On the right side, you're going to see copy HTML. You're going to click that. That is the HTML code you're going to want to use to embed your Google Business Profile on your site. Also, if you have all of the social profiles across a lot of the social platforms like YouTube, LinkedIn, X, Threads, Instagram, what you want to do is on your site, you want to link to them. On your Google Business Profile, you want to link to all of them. On your website, you want to link to all of them as well. This personal injury attorney that I'm looking at right now only links to a handful of them. You want to make sure that anytime you have a social profile on any of these social platforms that you're linking back to them. Not only do you want to link to them on the page, but also in your schema. In your schema, your same as schema, this is where you're going to want to list all of those profiles again. This is going to tell Google, hey, these social profiles are the same as my company. These are all in relation to me. I own these. These are my company profiles. That's going to help you build your knowledge graph or your entity with Google. So Google has an understanding. Oh, okay. So you're at this address. This is your website. This is your phone number. This is your Google business profile. And these are all your social profiles. So this personal injury attorney right now in their sitemap has 4 links to pages that shouldn't exist. These are artifacts or bugs that have no content on the page. What this does is that you're linking to these pages, these URLs that shouldn't exist. So then Google thinks that you have way more pages than you actually want Google to know about. Not only that, the more you URL bloat or the more URLs or pages you create, the harder it is to get a full crawl depth because you're wasting crawl budget on pages that shouldn't exist. Not only that, you're going to have a harder time getting pages indexed. So that new service page you created for DUI is not going to be indexed in Google because in your sitemap, you have a whole bunch of these links or URLs to pages that serve no purpose. Google is sending its crawling budget, or you're wasting your crawling budget on these pages. So right now, everyone listening, what y'all should do is go through your sitemap. It's gonna be your domain /sitemap.xml. Look through all the URLs you have listed. Look through all those links, click every single one of them. Do these actually serve a purpose, or am I just feeding Google URLs that are wasting my crawl budget that aren't actually helping my site out? They're hindering me from ranking for the keywords of the services that I offer that I want clicks from. I want people to fill out my form and I want people to call me so that I can start my sales motion. So they have Crestview is just looks like a template. It's a whole bunch of templates or cards or what have you. These pages should just not exist. They got 1, 2, 3, 4 pages that should not exist. So they got 43 blog archive pages are near identical or create no. So let's go look at this. So what's currently happening on this personal injury attorney's website is they have a setting or a category or a tag for their blog content to categorize it historically. Let's say they create a blog in June. There's a URL created that is /blog/2019/June. So anytime they create blog content, it is given a historical blog URL. What this does is as time elapses, we create more blog content, we bloat up our URLs. So over the course of 3 years, we go from our site having, let's say, 40 pages to now all of a sudden we have 160 because the CMS that we're using is creating an artifact or is bugging out and creating these historical URLs for these blogs. What this does is it wastes our crawl budget. All of a sudden, we now have 160 pages that are all getting portions of our crawl budget, when in reality, only 40 of our pages are actually serving a purpose. Those are the pages that are adding relevance and authority, and we actually want indexed and ranking in search. So when people actually go to search for our service, we are appearing in that first position to get that click, get that call, right? But because we're sending Google to these pages that just shouldn't exist, our service pages or the pages that we want ranking in search, our money pages aren't. So on their DUI attorney Pensacola, Florida page, their title tag is saying DUI lawyer in Bellevue. It is not matching what the page is supposed to be ranking for. So what they're doing is they're just confusing Google. Their site is also slow because they're using JavaScript. So this personal injury attorney site, they posted a blog, but they posted it twice. Now that doesn't matter if you go and update it, but what's occurring is because they have this artifact or bug in their CMS, which creates a new URL every time a blog's created. They have two new URLs being created. They've got one for 2024 January, and then they have one for 2024 June. The content is exactly the same, but they're creating these new URLs because of this artifact or bug in their CMS that is creating these historically each time there's a new blog or edit to a blog that's happening. And then they got 161 pages that have no shared title set for social media. Yeah, there's a lot going on. So this concludes the audit for a personal injury attorney in Pensacola,